এটা বন্ধ করে দাও। Namaskar, dear devotees and friends. Please chant along with me. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kobibirilitam kalmashapaham sravana mangalam srimadatatam bhuvi grinanti e bhurida janaha. The Bhagavan Sri Ram Krishna, he was talking with the devotees, and it was Saturday, October 11, 1884. Being a true spiritual teacher, Thakur never left any opportunity to guide the spiritual seekers. This is we can notice in his life. Because time was short, so he wanted to give a wonderful message, and that to the people whom he was meeting all the time. They were not ready for that high standard, high valued teaching, very broad and very unique teaching. Today we will discuss about one or two sentences that he has said. And it was in the Master Masha has mentioned advice to Ishan. He was talking with that, afterwards will come. But he was in Dakshineshwar, people have come and they were talking, and Sri Ramakrishna was, whenever he was talking, he gave them all the advices in a wonderful way. He said that the scripture mentioned that the human life is very special, very precious. Why? Because only the human can get the liberation. All others, they only can survive. Food and security. These are the two things they only want. But the human being, they always think how to get the freedom from the bondages. What is the bondage? The mental tension. Where from the tension comes? From the desire. And what is the source? It is the mind. So they slowly understood that mind is the cause. But what is the mind? We will come to that. This mind is such a thing that we cannot operate and take out and give it to somebody else or throw it away. No, it is not possible. We cannot replace the mind from somebody else. As a good person has passed away, take his mind and replace it with somebody else. No. We can do the eye corona, maybe other parts of the bodies, but not with the mind. So mind is so subtle, but mind is more forceful. And in the mind, different type of desires are there. But at the same time, there is a word that has been used called passion. There is a tremendous desire, deadly desire, you can say, because it is mixed with many other things. And Sri Ramakrishna will talk about that. But before that, he is mentioning among the people with all desire, there is a group of people who are those who develop dispassion from early youth, those who roam about yearning for God from boyhood, those who refuse all worldly life belong to a different class. The people used to come to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna used to guide them, telling them different the spiritual the ways, but not to all. Those who were not seeking for liberation, or at least something about religion, Sri Ramakrishna was not interested with them. He used to love them, he used to like them, but like the children, if they come, we don't discuss philosophy with them. Similarly, the people who were coming to Sri Ramakrishna were not ready for the spiritual life. Sri Ramakrishna used to ask them to go to see the flower garden, other places, and go and visit and talk with your friends. But those who were sincere, Sri Ramakrishna used to tell them. And Sri Ramakrishna could understand who is a sincere person. They always used to visit Sri Ramakrishna. They used to sit over there. They used to eager to listen to him. And when he is talking, when they are listening, their faces are lighting, lifting up. And when Sri Ramakrishna is singing, they are also joining. All those things prove that these people are ready. They can understand Sri Ramakrishna, though few. But Sri Ramakrishna used to encourage them. And he encouraged that type of people again through generations after generation, through this book, the Panchama Veda, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. The Master Moshe recorded it, and it has been translated into so many languages. Here we find he is mentioning a group of people, human, but from the childhood, from the boyhood, they want to realize God. So that is a different class. The one thing is proved. Among the human being, and human being means the mind, among the human being, there are people who like to enjoy the worldly objects. Is one class, one group. Another, they like religion and also want to enjoy the worldly object, second group. Sri Ramakrishna included them too. And Sri Ramakrishna's main students were those people. They were in the household, they wanted to enjoy the worldly objects, but at the same time, their mind was hankering for the religion, for the spirituality. They wanted to know. So obviously, they were the main listeners, they were the main students of Sri Ramakrishna. And the third group, which he just now mentioned, there's from the childhood, but the young, that when they are young, their mind don't like to enjoy the worldly objects. We find those people. They are a different class. Now he is telling people who practice renunciation from early youth belong to a very high level. Why high level? This is again one group, they want to enjoy the worldly objects. Another group in between, worldly objects and also religion. And third group, they don't want to enjoy the worldly objects. Their mind is focused on God. Now, from the Vedantic point of view, or any religious point of view, this world is nothing but illusory. But the illusion is so wonderful. This Maya is so great. It's very difficult to think that it is not true. In that condition, those who have tried, and in the past lives also they have tried, then only they have come to this condition. So they don't feel attraction to this, and they understand the teachings of the scripture very correctly. They understand it very correctly and follow it also. And then Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning about it. How can a man conquer passion? The passion, the word has been described sometimes in the Christian world in a different way. Is a hankering for God, is the passion. They have mentioned. But the passion we know is a strong desire for the carnal enjoyment. So that is called passion. That is the strongest desire. And how to overcome it? Now, before we go to the answer that the Sri Ramakrishna has given, let us try to understand it from the Vedantic point of view, from the scripture, a very simple book that Shankaracharya mentioned very nicely, and that we will do today. Our topic is how to conquer passion. He mentioned this passion, and where from this passion comes? The strong desire to enjoy the flesh, in mind. All desires are coming from the mind. So Shankaracharya, he is mentioning in one of his, in the Viveka Chudamani, he is mentioning Mona Shodhana Kartabhya. You have to purify the mind. Shodhan. Shodhan means purify. You have to purify the mind. There's sometimes the drinking water they are supplying, even then we make a filter. Through the filter, we take that water and drink. That's purification. Shodhana. This Shodhana of what? Of mind. And how to make it? So, we will try to understand the purification of the mind. Human life is very, very special because it can get the liberation, and it is again in the bondage. Why? Through mind. Mind is most important. I think from 22nd and 23rd, Minnesota, the devotees, they are organizing an online retreat around meditation, the cause of meditation. So, we will discuss in details about this. But today, when we are reading the Panchama Veda, we have to understand our own mind. We know that we have a mind, everyone knows it. But what is this mind? Do you know that? What is this mind? This Shankaracharya and the Vedanta, they have found out that it is the combination of the mind with the Jnanendriyas. The Jnanendriyani cha manascha manomaya syat. Jnanendriyani. What are the Jnanendriyani? Jnana means knowledge. Indriya means all the senses. The Hindus, they have very wonderfully, the analytical way they have tried to understand the human mind. And they understood that in the human body there are so many other things. There are also the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, and the skin. These are the 5 senses were going out and bringing information for the mind, and what? The Rupa, Rasa, Shabda, Sparsha and Gandha. These are the 5 objects. The form and the taste, the sound, touch and the smell. These are the 5 objects, the 5 senses they are collecting, and it has been termed, given the name at Jnana Indriya. Jnana means knowledge. They are bringing the information. So, this Pancha Jnanendriyani plus mind, when combined together, and that is called Manomaya, the kosha. The sets are there, 5 sets are there. This is the Manomaya kosha. This mental set, Manomaya kosha, how it works? Me and mine. Mama aham iti. Mama, me, aham, me, mama, the mind, the mama aham iti. The me and mine. This is the cause. Now we come to Sri Ramakrishna said that you have to overcome the passion to realize God. And passion is the most strong desire. And this desire is there inside the mind. And now we know what is this mind. is the combination of the mental mind, at the same time it is attached with the 5 Gyanendriyas. And these Gyanendriyas bringing the information, the mind is analyzing and sending out all the instructions, and the Gyanendriyas also the Karmendriyas are performing. All the Indriyas are performing. So, mind is the most strong thing. And this mind, how it works? Basic is me and mine. And by that way, it is differentiating. All things are the same? No, mind will say no. All children are there, but the mind will say this is my son and that is not my son. So, me and mine, the mind is differentiating. And those who want the God realization should purify the mind, clean the mind. How? First, we have to understand this tremendous force that is working through the mind. Shankaracharya has given a beautiful example, and he says that in the Vivek Chudamani 176 verse, Mano nama mahabhagro Vishaya aranna bhumishu charati atra nakachantu sadhavo e mumukshavaha. He is giving an example as if the mind is a tiger, and the tiger is roaming in a forest, and that forest are all desire. All the desires make a forest, and the mind is roaming into that. Now, if you like to save your life, don't go to that forest. Indirectly, Shankara is telling, don't enjoy the worldly objects. So, that is how you can purify your mind. The mind has 2 parts. The mind is, it can give you the liberation, it can bind you with these desires. So, we have to understand this. Mind naturally get attached with the sense objects. Where from the sense objects come? Another question. The mind we have understood. From the Prakriti, I am not going to the root of the creation. The Prakriti, it has come, the mind is also there, and in the mind again we find that it is the main spatial function of the mind is me and mine. And me and mind, it goes to the objects, the sense objects. From there, the mind is collecting all the information and bringing. But where from these objects came? The very unique thing is, the objects were also created by the mind. The mind created the objects, then mind is going to enjoy those objects, and then the mind is binding the person who is attached with those things. Now, it is very clear. The mind manaprasute vishayan asheshan, the uncounted, unlimited objects. Where from it came? From the mind only. So, mind is creating the objects, then mind is sending the sense organs, and then the mind is enjoying, so called enjoyment of the sense, the sense objects, and the cause is misery. Why? Because again, because of those desires, one has to come back into life, in what form we do not know, and then suffering. So, if mind is mind is creating. Now, again, if we ask that how the mind is creating, the answer the Vedanta gives is called adhyasa. Adhyasa and apavada, these are the 2 subjects are there. The adhyasa is covering. What the mind is covering? Something that is true. And first it is covering, then it is superimposing which it wants to see. You will notice that some people, they are liking their son. Other people, from the point of view of the other people, they look at that boy as ugly. His color is like that, the form is like that, behavior is like that. They don't like. But the mother and the father also, the parents, for them he is the most beautiful child in the world. How the same object can be two different ways, that is the cause of the mind. When I look to someone, to me that person is very good, and I get attached to that, attracted to that, I like to develop friendship with that person, whereas the other people around me, they look at the same person, but they are not interested. How it is possible? Adhyasa. What is the adhyasa? So this is individually I am superimposing, first covering what is reality, then superimposing whatever I like to see into that person or the object. So adhyasa is that first covering the truth and then imposing my ideas, and then I am loving that object, then I get attached to that. This is a very peculiar situation. Who is binding me? Myself. How? Through my mind. Why? That I don't know. I don't know why unnecessarily I am binding myself. So this is the work, and then Vedanta says, work of the Maya. And what is this Maya? Again, mind. Mind is also avidya. So the mind is a very, very important subject to understand, to discuss, and because this mind is very forceful, it can do anything. Swami Vivekananda is telling that if you sit in a cave and go on sending the powerful thoughts, that will reach to the all over the world, and the world will change. What the rishis did, they did the same thing, and it can penetrate that wall also. There's the thought, there's the mind, and if the mind becomes pure, like the Jesus Christ, he was not a rich person, he was not a king, but the thought that he thought, and that is now covering the half of the world. Millions and millions of people are following Jesus, Lord Buddha, now Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Within a short period of time, Sri Ramakrishna's ideology is reaching all over the world. Thought only. But the good thoughts, where it is going? To the mind, through the mind to the brain, and then people's mind is slowly changing. So this is the way it works. Now our goal is purification of the mind. Why? Because mind is contaminated with what? With desire. And of all the desires, different type of desires, the passion is dangerous. So Sri Ramakrishna is telling you have to purify that passion. And therefore, for the liberation, Vivek Chudamani is advising tat, therefore, mana, mind, shodhanam, purification, karjam, activity, prayatnena mumukshuna. Those who want to get the liberation, those who want to get the God realization, they should very carefully purify their mind. They should. That is the first step of the religious life, purification of the mind. So what is this purification of the mind? That we have discussed many a times. It's a practice. People should make a routine that in the morning we will get up, then after the ablution we should go and sit in a corner of the shrine, and then we should meditate, we should burn the incense sticks, and we should take the holy name of God the Guru has given. Then we should read the holy books for a few pages and constantly try to think of those things. And then we are giving that. Others are also external activities like giving the alms to the poor, helping the needy people. So that way we can do. Recently one lady rang me and she was telling Swamiji, we came to know that a tremendous that storm has come, and the one eastern part of the India, and is devastated. Already these coronavirus problems are going on there, and then this has come. So how those people will survive? Can we help them? I told you, are welcome. So this thought is there. How much we can help, we do not know. But I appreciated that lady. She is sitting over there thinking and contacting her own friends and group, collecting some fund from here so that we can send it to someone. So those people who are there working for the people suffering there. What is the beginning thought? I should try to do something. Where this thought came in the mind, and this shodhana, this is purification. I should enjoy. Why should I give my money to those people? Let them die. Let them suffer. I should go to a big hotel and enjoy. I must keep the money. Or sodhana. That is all dirty minds. So from the Hindu point of view, from the Sanatana Dharma, they always say no. In the Bhagavad Gita, it also very clearly they mention that if you are not helping others when you can, that the food that you are eating, it will bring all suffering to you. So that is the way it all goes. Now this is the main thing. We will come to our the main book. Now Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna mentioned about the passion, and Manu Maharaj, the lawgiver of the Hindus, he said that the through knowledge about the sense organs one can control the passion or the mind. He said mind. The mind, actually it is there in the passion, all desires are there. Manu Maharaj's suggestion is knowledge. What is that knowledge? Just we are discussing here. The knowledge of the mind. What is this mind? Combination of the all 5 knowledge organs and also the mind. That is the mind. Manamaya kosha. How the mind works? The mainly me and mine. And why it is doing that? Because it wants to enjoy. What it will enjoy? Objects. Where from the objects came? From the minds again. How mind could create the objects that he is going to enjoy? By adhyasa. And Swiss superimposing on what? On the truth, on the reality, on the God. This world is nothing but God. This world is nothing but the truth. This world is nothing but the Brahman. This mind is covering that truth, that Brahman, that God, and then superimposing something that he wants to enjoy, the mind wants to enjoy. So this is the way it is binding the person who is attached to that mind. Cause suffering. So Manu said, understand it properly and then go beyond that. And another, it says, Bishayeshu prajushtani yatha jnanena nityashaha. This is the teaching of the Manu. Bishayeshu prajushtani yatha jnanena. So understand the object and truly how it is going to. How we will do that? Only 2 things we have to keep in mind. Is this object going to give me a permanent joy? No. No object can give you any permanent thing. Because object means the Vishaya, it has been created. Obviously anything created going to be destroyed either today or tomorrow. So this is not going to give any. That way you have to discriminate, and as long as we are not getting the liberation, so long we should adjust with this but not getting attached to this. This is the Manu Maharaj's teaching. Yoga Vasishta, he is little strong in this way, and he very strongly he said, Hanyat Viveka Dandena. Viveka Dandena. With the stick of discrimination, you kill those desires. Kill those desires through discrimination. Hanyat Viveka Dandena. And Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said a very unique prescription and very, very difficult to practice. He said, assume the attitude of the opposite sex. The passion will be controlled. Now we come to the book, and it says like this: how can a man conquer passion? He should assume the attitude of a woman. A man, woman attitude. Is it possible? Sri Ramakrishna did, and he is describing that. He truly practiced it. But as I said, is really, really difficult, very, very difficult. Completely from the mind, you have to transform yourself, change yourself, and your attitude will be completely different. I spent many days as the handmaid of God. I dressed myself in women's clothes. All this he is telling. I was reading the biography of another yogi, and there also he also mentioned that is in the last part of his life he practiced this thing, and the Krishna was his lover, and he assumed himself as the Krishna's handmaid. By that way, the last whole life he practiced, and he realized God in that way. So, but this is very difficult. Do you know the significance of the Shiva emblem? It is the worship of the symbols of fatherhood and motherhood. And he said, but it is quite different when one reaches perfection. He was telling about the practices. Now he is going to give us some idea about those who have already perfected in these practices. But it is quite different when one reaches perfection. After the realization of God, there is not much for a man to fear. The fear from what? Fear from this world, this object. Even in a monk's life also, a monk came very young, 16, 17 years. He left the hearth and home, joined the monastic order, practiced all through his life. And then when he was almost 60, 62, that time compassion came in his mind. Tremendous compassion for one lady who was suffering, and she lost the father and the mother. That orphan young girl, his compassion wanted to protect that girl, apparently very good, but in the monastic life he could not succeed. He did a very great job. He helped that lady and served her and all those things. But the goal to reach the God, that he failed. Why? Because again went towards the worldly object. How it happened? Compassion, love, sympathy, so many things. It will just mesmerize your mind. So it is very, very difficult to get the perfection. And if you ask, oh, then a person should become very cruel, not observing the suffering of others? No, exactly opposite. The sadhu or the monks or the mendicant or this person who has left the hearth and home, their mind is very soft. The mind is very compassionate, full of love, full of compassion, but detached with detachment. That is the main thing. Without detachment, if we want to do anything, obviously it will be an attached work with the world, and it goes to the same circle of birth and death and the karma phala, the result of the work. The Sri Ramakrishna therefore is telling, it is quite different when one reaches perfection. After the realization of God, there is not much for a man to fear. He has become to a great extent secure. The Sri Ramakrishna is constantly using the masculine gender, a man, he. In reality, in those days, the ladies never came out. So the people, those who were listening to Sri Ramakrishna, they were all male folk. So obviously he was addressing them, he used this. Now we can say a person, because it is applicable to both. The important thing is for a man somehow to climb to the roof. After that, he can even dance there, but he cannot dance on the steps. Again, after climbing to the roof, you need no longer discard what you discarded before. You find that the stairs are made of the same materials, bricks, lime, and brick dust, as the roof. The woman you have to be so careful about at the beginning, to the woman, because he was talking with the men, so he was telling that opposite sex you must be careful, because it may take your mind to that. The thing is to touch the granny as the children do in the game of the hide and seek. Sri Ramakrishna, if we notice, he is constantly forcing us to realize God in this very life. He started his ministerial job, he started his giving the teaching to the world by saying the God realization is the goal of human life. Every human should realize God. By saying that, he is mentioning, that's why again and again in different occasions he said that, and here he said that the thing is to touch the granny. There is a game the children used to play, that there should be a granny inside and there are circles. Somehow you have to go, the circles are guarding by some people, the players, opposite players, and those who want to get the liberation should go inside. There may be 3 circles guarded by the players, and you have to somehow dodge them, enter into the first circle, second circle, and entering into the third circle you have to touch the granny. And before that, if those opposite players, if they touch you, then you lost the game. Again you have to begin. But somehow if you can, without being touched by the opponent players, can touch the granny, you are liberated. Sri Ramakrishna mentioning that game. These are all rare games, lost games nowadays. In the villages of Bengal, we have seen that the children used to play. That you have to, as a children, do the games of the hide and seek, and then you can do whatever you like. Now he is mentioning about the different stages of our life. Man looking on outward sees the gross. At that time his mind dwells in the Annamaya Kosha, taking us again to the Vedanta. The Vedanta, they have analyzed the human body as a 5 different shades: Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, and Anandamaya. This is the way they say. The first is the Annamaya Kosha, the gross body. Next is the subtle body, functioning through the subtle body, that the mind dwells in the Manomaya Kosha, the gross body and the subtle body. What is the subtle body? The mind. And it is called Manomaya Kosha, the Sanskrit terminology, and the Vijnanamaya Kosha. This Vijnanamaya Kosha again all the our sense organs, and also the five knowledge sense organs, and the mind, and the discriminative capacity, that is called Vijnanamaya. Next is the causal body. The causal body is also the cause, for that all this creation has come. Functioning through the causal body, the mind enjoys bliss. It dwells in the Annamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. This corresponds to the semi-conscious state experienced by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Last of all, the mind loses itself in the great cause, the cause of all causes, that is the Brahman. From there only all things have come. Hindus, they believe that this Brahman, which is one without second, all pervading consciousness, it was like that and there was no creation. But suddenly, as if assuming, how you will know? So, assuming that a desire came, crossed in the mind of that Brahman, Supreme Brahman, formless consciousness. And what is the desire? Ekaham bahushyamavihi. I am alone, I like to be many. And from that the creation began. The moment it just thought in that way, and this creation started. And the creation, the firstborn was the Brahma, that is the Hindu way of describing. So the Brahma came and the knowledge was given to him, he created, then slowly all this came. The same creation that is also there in the philosophy of the Christianity, Islam, Judaism, everyone is talking like that, some way, but it goes ultimately to the God. When it goes to the ultimate to the God, that's called great cause. From the great cause, that is the main thing, from there all this thing has come, the great cause. It disappears. It merges in the great cause. What one experiences after cannot be described in words. What is this samadhi? Merging into the great cause. What is nirvana? What is this mukti? Of course, the nirvana, the word, is mainly used by the Buddhist, and this mukti by the Hindus. And what is this mukti? Liberation. This is merging with the great cause. What is this great cause? Sri Ramakrishna said it is an experience, but it cannot be described. In this innermost state of consciousness, Chaitanya enjoyed this experience. He is giving the example of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this experience means the enjoyment of the Supreme Brahman, the joy of the Supreme Brahman. So that is called the enjoyment. Do you know what is the state is like? Dayananda described it. Come into the inner apartments and shut the door. Anyone and everyone cannot enter into that part of the house. The Dayananda, so that is another very famous spiritual leader was there at that time. Sri Ramakrishna quoting him. He is telling it is like entering into your personal apartment and closing it. You only enjoy, you only know, but you cannot describe it, you cannot share it with others. So that is different way. It says that na tatra chakshu gacchati, na mano, na bak. The eye cannot go there, not the mind, not the speech. In the Upanishads, in different way, they like to explain that you have to experience it, and that is only your experience. You cannot share it. Why? Because this is not an object. It becomes the subject. The subject cannot become the object. You are finding yourself. So that is the main thing. So what is God realization? Understanding my true nature. I am already that. Only thing, some coverings have come on that, and I am trying to remove it. With the help of the Guru and the scripture, we are removing. The first is Annamaya Kosha, and this body that is sustaining with the food. Then goes to the mind, this goes to the intellect, then goes to the feeling of joy. Like that it goes, and then subtle up to subtlest, and then ultimately it goes and merges with the great cause. This great cause, the moment we merge with that, one drop of water, we can give the example, the drop of water, it becomes the ocean. That particular drop cannot come out and say, now I am experiencing the ocean is this. No, it cannot come out. It cannot say anything, because it becomes that for which it was they are trying, striving to reach to the ultimate, and after reaching over there, after merging with that, no one can come back to tell that. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna himself, in one place he said, the doll that made of salt went to fathom the depth of the ocean, and when it entered into that water, it never came back, because it is made of salt, and salt is made of the saline water of the ocean, and it went to its own, the place from where it came, its main resource, and melted into that. It became that ocean again. So that is the idea. Why the realized people cannot explain it? They give different example, but that much. So Swarupa Lakshana or Tatastha Lakshana, there is another two terminology. The two different Vedantic terminology, they say it is like this: Tatastha Lakshana, example, and Swarupa Lakshana is a part of it. They say Sat Chid Ananda. It is just that. It is eternal Sat, it is knowledge, and Sat Chid Ananda, it is bliss. So this Sat Chid Ananda, that is its Swarupa Lakshana of the Brahman. But even then, you cannot say this is Brahman. No. This is the problem. I used to meditate on the flame, a very important teaching now Bhagavan is giving. He says, he said, I used to meditate on the flame of a light. Sometimes some people, they like to learn the meditation, they can practice. The first, you have to have a candle, and when you are concentrating on the candle, the holder of the candle, and it is burning, the whole thing in the beginning you are concentrating. Looking at that, close your eyes, try to imagine that, meditate that, the whole thing. Second, slowly, when you perfect in that, when you can see the whole candle stand, candle and the flame, then try to remove the candle stand. See only the candle and the flame. By that way, it will go. And after that, when you can see the candle very perfectly, and your mind is not roaming here and there, it only visualizes that candle within your mind, then remove that candle, look at the flame, and from here we can follow Sri Ramakrishna. He is telling, I used to meditate on the flame of a light. I thought of the red part as the gross body. Sri Ramakrishna is thinking the first is the gross body, the red part of the flame. The white part inside the red has subtle body, and the thick stick-like black part which is called as the causal body. There's naturally there will be a thread will be there, it burns, and you can see that black part, that is the causal body. From that cause everything has come. From the cause is subtle, from the subtle to gross. So ours will be the opposite direction. We have to go back calculation from the gross body to the subtle body and to the causal body, and there from that we have to go to the great cause. By certain signs you can tell when meditation is being rightly practiced. Sri Ramakrishna giving from his own life the example. How you will know that you are practicing the meditation properly? By certain signs. One of them is that a bird will sit on your head thinking you are an inner thing. A bird will come and will sit on your head, and it won't discriminate that you are a living human being. It will think that you are just inner thing, so it will come and sit on your head. So that is the main way to forget the body. The body consciousness should go, and along with the body comes the mind, and the mind is completely still. The mind is only thinking about the God. So we are slowly entering into the deepest part of the meditation, the sublime thing, unexpressible. So that one should practice. Sri Ramakrishna, now let us read from the pages. I first met Keshav at a meeting of the Adi Samaj. Several members of the Samaj were sitting on the platform. Keshav was in the middle. I saw him motionless as a log. Pointing to Keshav, I said to Mathur Babu, "Look here, that bait has been swallowed by a fish." It was the special way of his talking. He said, "The fish has taken that bait." This Ramakrishna is mentioning. What is that? The meditation is perfect. His body is still, and the eyeballs are not moving. The eyeballs are still. So that way one can understand. Sri Ramakrishna first met Keshav Chandra Sen. He saw him meditating in that way and he liked it. I said to Mathur Babu, "Look there, that bait has been swallowed by a fish." Because of that power of meditation, he achieved what he wanted, name, fame, and so forth, through the grace of God. We get another hint. If we want even the worldly things, like the name, fame, and the wealth, meditation can only help us. And if we want liberation, the supreme joy of spirituality, meditation will help us. And what is the meditation? Controlling the mind. And what is the mind? Let us go back once again. The mind is the mana plus 5 sense organs. That we have to go back. So these sense organs taking us to the sense objects, we have to stop that. And when you stop that, we stop the mind to go out to the sense objects, then what the mind will do? It will go inside. And when it goes to the inside, and slowly with the help of the scripture, understanding this knowledge, we can understand that inside this body there are so other things are there, from this gross body, physical body, then the subtle body, then the causal body, then the great cause is also there. Our goal is to reach to that great cause. So we have to meditate in that way, and Sri Ramakrishna gave an example. We can practice meditation with an object. It may be the image of God, it may be a picture of a holy man, even it may be the flame of a candle. But meditation should be in such a way so that one should forget the body. One can meditate even with eyes open. This is Sri Ramakrishna. One can meditate even with eyes open. One can meditate even while talking. Take the case of a man with toothache. So what is meditation? Constantly remembering God, constantly remembering the consciousness and forgetting all other things. So 90% of the mind can go to that, and with the 10% mind we can very happily survive in this world. We know this world and all the objects and the people all around and the things that are there are all temporary, and so very temporary. So we should not give our mind to that. So what we should practice? Meditation. And meditation, one pointed the consciousness, one pointed mind to that particular thing from which everything has come. It may be God, it may be consciousness, it may be Brahman, in whatever form we think. And the first thing we should forget, that our body and surroundings. Then the mind is trained. With that mind, even with open eyes we can work. And when with the open eyes we are working, whoever is coming in my sight, I will consider that another form of God has come before me. The person is asking something, talking to me, I am visiting someone, everything is nothing but that God. That in a beautiful song, there is also the expression of the realization. The Ram Prasad has mentioned like this: that when you are traveling and moving in the city, you think that you are circling the mother. Mother is the center, as we always do, as a holy circle in the temple. Same way, the mother is standing in the center of the city, and I am going round that. Nagor fero mone karo pradakshina shamamari. Any word that we listen, we have to think, oh, these are the mantras, the holy words. The same everything, whatever I am eating, when I am sleeping, when I am bathing, when I am roaming, when I am talking, all the time think about God, and that is called meditation with open eyes. And meditation sitting in one corner and closed eyes, that is also possible. Thank you, friends. We will read this, we will continue this reading from here. Today, our focus was how to overcome the passion. And next time, we will try to understand the different way of meditation. Let us conclude with this mantra. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai ishavataram parameshamidhyam tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa namama. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.